Yo, everybody, what's going on? Welcome to the live stream. We got Mr. Network Bits, the amazing network engineer, also content creator, the most knowledgeable person on Helium is on live stream today, guys. We're going to talk about everything. Network Bits, what's up, buddy?
Hey, thanks for having me.
Dude.
Yeah, today we're going to go over a lot of subject material. We also have a lot of hardware to give away, which I'm very excited about. I know you all are. I think there's some confusion in the chat right now, so we'll get that sorted out. But we're going to start off actually with another proof of coverage network, which will be giving away some licenses for do-it-yourself or converted hotspots, as well as a physical hotspot itself, but that hotspot is only applicable to the EU. So we'll sort this out, but as always, what you hear in this video is not financial advice. Be sure to consult with a trusted professional before acting on any of this information. We'll try to be very constructive in this stream. We're going to give you the rundown on what you need to know to prepare for the Solana migration. Some of this has already started, as you may have seen with the proof of coverage changing a little bit. More hotspot activity rewards have been either hit or miss for most people, and we're also seeing the posts in the Reddit, Facebook groups, etc. So we'll talk about that and basically everything you need to know. We'll take your questions later on in the stream about Helium or Crankk or whatever it may be. Also, tomorrow we're doing another live stream. We'll be joined by Chris Begnell, Max Voltage, and the Mining King. Will be giving away a SenseCap M4 Square Flux node, a Cumulus node, and taking your questions on Flux and discussing the halving. Same time tomorrow, 11 a.m. U.S. Central Time. Anything to add, Panda?
Oh, dude, can't wait. Yes, so as well, I'm just working on giving more info for the giveaways we're doing today, which is going to be sick. We got some Crankk hotspot, 5 licenses, and a Seed Studio M1 hotspot. That's for everywhere, right? Worldwide? Network Bits?
Yes, the Seed Studio, the SenseCap hotspot can be shipped anywhere.
Sweet. And then
as
the
far as the
Crankk one
Crankk
is
EU only, so we'll post that link right now. There will be a link to Chris Begnell's channel. Now, we're also giving away 5 licenses for conversion of hotspots to the Crankk network. You can also dual earn or provide dual proof of coverage, both Helium and Crankk at the same time. However, you will need to stake $100 worth of Crankk tokens to earn on the network. This is applicable to the following Helium hotspots: SenseCap M1, Pisces P100, HealthTech, Codex X1 and X3, RAC V2, Minted, Panther X1 and X2. Will be applicable to the Dragino LPS8, the Contralino V1, Milesite UG65, Broen, Mary IoT, Never OG, and the Never Rock Pi. And if you just want to hold on to your license and wait, there will be do-it-yourself available in the coming months for Raspberry Pis. So we'll be giving away 5 licenses, and we'll be giving away 1 EU hotspot. I'll post a link in the comments right now, and let us know where you're located.
yeah,
and we'll select them at random.
It's gonna be sick, man. Yeah, we'll use Common Picker, and we're gonna do the giveaways throughout the stream. Yeah.
So yeah, Crankk would be considered a Helium competitor, and I know I'm going to get some flack about this. However, I really like what they're doing with their network, and as it turns out, the people who are developing solutions on the LoRaWAN networks are looking for redundancy for their solutions. They're looking for multiple networks to route the traffic that their sensors and devices transmit. So there is room in this space for more than just Helium, for backup. I've talked to the folks over at Crankk quite a bit in these past months, and they're doing some very interesting things. So their proof of coverage model, you don't have to be around other hotspots You don't have to be around other hotspots to earn.
Right.
It's based off of their measurement of traffic, identifying if the traffic is unique and how much it overlaps with surrounding hotspots. They're also looking at redundancy as a metric to measure what if too many hotspots are clustered up in one location, and also if people are trying to cheat the network. And I think it is a tremendous idea. They're also going to have a lot of features in the IoT space. They will be supporting more of the conversions of the Helium hotspots, hopefully. Now, I did see a comment asking if Bobcats will be supported. As of right now, they're not. There might be support in the future. It depends on what Bobcat, if they would like to support it and make their devices open to modification.
How come they're not supported?
Well, they're a custom-made board. There was the SSH keys leaked, but yeah, that's definitely not good.
Right.
However, they're not open to the modifications unless you purposely break it. Where the other ones, they're easier to get into. Most of them are Raspberry Pis, but other ones you can just SSH and change.
Oh, they're their own proprietary hardware, not Raspberry Pis.
Yeah, so if the manufacturer decides to support it, then we're good to go.
I see.
Yeah, so I think Crankk is going to have a lot of interesting ideas in the crypto space as well. And without disclosing too much information, there is going to be some interaction from other crypto infrastructure, put it that way, both in the wireless infrastructure space as well as in the, I guess you'd say, compute space. I really like what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they have some great new ideas, but they're also doing some obvious things that Helium should have done.
Like not going Solana network.
Well, we'll talk about that. We'll definitely talk about that.
I see.
Yeah, that's a big topic right now. Well, like I said, I'm going to try to behave and be constructive.
Same.
And
I'll try to.
yeah, we'll try to avoid that situation like last time when Voss put me in one of his videos, although it was a lot of fun.
Love it.
We'll tell that story later. I love telling that story.
Dude.
Yeah, so Crankk they're a community-driven project. I encourage you to take a look at them. Join up the Discord, give your feedback, participate. So they will have some other features coming down the pipeline. One of them being consensus nodes on the network. You will have to stake for that once again, but an alternative method in participating and earning while also providing some amount of computing and verification for the network. Now, the tokenomics, 80% of the tokens are divvied out to the community, as opposed to many other projects that you would see where they have multiple allocations to different teams and different reasons.
Mm-hmm.
And some of them just aren't profitable because of that.
Right. The project will take 8%.
Yep. So I have high hopes for it. I want to thank Milan and Peter for being here and joining us, and for supporting this giveaway.
Thank you, guys. Let's see how many comments we got right now.
And Chris,
74.
Chris, that is on your video, so please be sure to check if any of the comments are held for review and push them through.
Good to see you, Chris. Yeah, so let's see here.
Make some heavy metal.
Oh, is it on? It's not on? Let's see.
Oh.
There we go. Yep, so everyone start commenting in the pinned comment on the first video. That's for the Crankk hotspot and licenses. We'll be doing the giveaway shortly here.
I already see the comments that there's a lot of people who don't like HNT. They don't agree with the leadership. They have some grievances. And hey, I can... Look, I get it. I have my fair share of grievances. I've been banned from the Discord. There's people who don't like me just because I'm a YouTuber and have dissenting opinions. It's fine. And we're going to talk about that later on after we've covered all the technical material. And we'll see if we can find some common ground here, or at least find reason within this hellscape.
Excited for this.
Chump Change right. I only hate HNT because of Joe, LOL. Thanks, bro.
Have changed the troll. Oh, Joe, you're muted.
Sorry.
Sorry.
How much longer do we got until this Crankk giveaway?
Let's see here. We got 94 comments. All right, you guys ready? You want to do it? Let's see. We got 178 people here, but 94 comments, so...
Yeah, and only 95 likes on this video.
Smash that like
button.
But hey, let's do the Crankk hotspot licenses first, and then the hotspot.
Yeah. So when you go through it, just we're gonna have to select 6 random comments, and whichever EU comment you pull first, will give them the physical hotspot. Now, if we pull your name, you have to leave some sort of contact info in the chat. Panda, you know this better than I do. You do giveaways all the time. So
when I call your name, you just have to reply in the chat, and give you a good 15-20 seconds to reply. If you don't reply, we choose the next winner. So here, I'm gonna get the YouTube comments right now. 97 unique comments. Okay, we're gonna choose the first one. This is for the hotspot. All right, let's go. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. I guess, Joe, you can't see my screen, right? Depran, USA. Great info. Panda is our king. Depran, you're in the US, so that's not going to work for you.
Yeah, so he'll get a license.
I guess a license will work. Okay.
So
Depran, let me write your name down. License. Okay.
So like I said, with the license, you can convert an existing hotspot that is supported, or you can wait for the do-it-yourself hot Raspberry Pi based ones to be available.
Right, so he can use that license later on in North America.
Yes.
On a supported hardware. Nice. Okay, let's choose the next one. Here we go. The Traveler's Travels, USA. So he gets a license. Congrats, man. License.
Congratulations.
All right. We're going to choose another one. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Oh, here we go. Chile. This is a great topic to have an open discussion for HNT and Helium. Texas, USA. Chile. Congrats, man. You won a license.
Look, I know it's random, but this is starting to seem rigged. I mean, these guys are all regulars.
I just got the YouTube comments. Looks like people are posting again more, so here we go. Choosing more winners. Here we go. Vanelin Geshev. Doesn't say where he's from, but he says, "Come on, Crankk." I totally forgot to see if Chile.
He didn't follow the rules, so he gets a license.
He gets a license. Okay. Is Vanelin Geshev here? Vanelev Geshev. Vanilla. He's not responding in the chat. I saw all the previous people, Depran, Travels, and Chili, but I did not see Vanilla yet. Can't tag him. Yeah, he's not taggable. Okay, well, we gotta choose the next winner.
Let's do this.
Let's do this, okay? Start. Dan Ruggs Horse Coin. Is Mr. Dan Ruggs Horse Coin here? Hero Mates USA. License. Is Mr. Dan Ruggs here? Yeah, he is. Congrats. Put your name down. Okay, all the people who've won so far, please email me, contact@redpandamining.com. All right, let's go. The next winner. Here we go. This is for the last license or hotspot, depending if you're on EU. Kia Enigma Adventures. Love RPM. All right, he doesn't have any USA or EU, but so he's one of license, but is Mr. Kia Enigma here? Mr. Kia Enigma, are you here? Smash that like, guys. Kia Enigma Adventures, not seeing him. Yeah, he's not pingable. All right, we gotta choose another winner then. A couple more seconds. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1. The veteran miner. Is the veteran miner here? I think I saw him commented earlier. Veteran miner, are you here?
Well, he said, if I win, please re-roll in the comment.
Is that what he said?
Yeah, in the comment.
Oh my god. Veteran miner, come on. All right, fine. Oh yeah, he says here, if I win, please re-roll. Oh, that's funny. Okay, all right. For license or hotspot, is there anyone from the EU here? Tizen Coin. Is Mr. Tizen Coin here? I'm a random click buy. Should I have a good chance, right? 50-50 USA. Is Mr. Tizen Coin here? Tizen Coin is here. You have won a license, my friend. Congrats. Okay, I'm going to have to put EU now in the filtered comments because we're probably not going to have too many EU here. So I'm going to filter comments based on text, and it has to have EU in it. All right, let's see how many people with EU comments here. This is for the hotspot. 13. That's pretty good. The odds are pretty low. All right, 13. 1 out of 13. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. SFE Matt. Is Mr. SFE Matt here? You have won the Crankk hotspot. Is there a specific model it's called? Joe, the hotspot? Let's see.
Yeah, just hotspot. LoRaWAN gateway.
Crankk hotspot miner. SFE Matt, I see you. Congrats, man. You have won the Crankk hotspot. Congrats, man. Please email me. contact@redpandamining.com. All the winners, please email me. Depran, If Travels, Chili, Dan Ruggs, Tizen Coin, SFE Matt. You guys, congrats. Congratulations. How was that? How was that, Joe?
Awesome.
Awesome.
Hell yeah. Let's start on the helium content.
All right, let's do it.
So, many of you may know about the denialist issues that we've seen thus far. Basically what happened was Helium's has been using an algorithm to analyze the traffic between hotspots, to analyze the proof of coverage, and try to decipher who's cheating the network. They're trying to find the anomalies, and it's not really been so accurate. It's especially been inaccurate in the Australian region because they recently did a change in the frequency plan, so that really skewed the I don't know what you'd want to call it, the metrics, the patterns. So a lot of about 20% of the people in Australia got hit by the denial list unfairly. Now, the reason that they maintain the denial list is because there's so many people who cheat the network. There's exploits from an RF perspective. You can do packet stuffing based on the architecture, basically like a man in the middle between the LoRaWAN concentrator and the board itself, and instead forward that traffic over the internet. There's people who just set up a bunch of hotspots in one room and put coax cables with resistors between them, so they're only witnessing themselves, and they place it all the way middle of nowhere on the map, and game the system. And yeah, there's a lot of ways to do it. So yeah, there's been a rampant problem on the network. There's just been so much cheating, and the proof of coverage anti-gaming working group really couldn't keep up with it, but they wanted to come up with a solution that would really not need so much intervention. But the problem is with any algorithm, there's going to be false positives. It's not going to be 100% accurate. So if your hotspot hasn't been earning, what you want to do is go to the Explorer and check it. Click on it. If it says on denial list, what you'll have to do is go to crowdspot.io, and you're going to fill out a ticket. They're going to ask you for information, and they'll likely want, it would be best if you can give them a video of the placement of where it's at, the physical location. But if you can bring a phone with you and have Google Maps on it showing your precise location, that would actually help them verify it. And then there's another issue that's been trending with people coming into the Discord saying, I got put on the denial list unfairly for no reason. I'm not cheating the network. Well, what we're finding out is there were so many people on the Facebook groups who were approached by others saying, hey, if you give me some money, I'll modify your hotspot. You can earn more HNT. And these people were unintentionally witness stuffing because someone else helped them do it. And they got put on the denial list for that reason. If that was what you're doing, if you let someone modify your hotspot and you are unfairly seeing more traffic, then technically you were cheating the network. So, of course, knock it off and apply to be unbanned once you've fixed that issue.
Joe.
But one thing, go ahead.
I'm looking at this deny list right now, showing everybody. There's 158,742 hotspots currently on the deny list.
Pretty crazy. It's nuts. But yeah, cheating on this network was rampant for so long. And I've seen clusters that I've pointed out that still haven't been taken care of. So there's going to be further tweaks to the algorithm and some manual intervention, but they're going to roll out a couple more revisions here soon where they try to do a mass grab on who's actually gaming, the ones that they haven't caught yet. We might see more get caught up unfairly, and it's unfortunate, but it's a necessary evil, because with the current method that they use for proof of coverage, it's not really possible to completely eliminate the cheating. Now, maybe the solution Crankk provides will be near 100% or 100% in deterring cheating of proof of coverage. We don't know yet because it hasn't been tested over time. Might be something for Helium to consider down the road, but we'll see. However, some of these other solutions we've seen, like Pollen Mobile is a good example, where they were doing mapping for proof of coverage, and you would see even gaming going on where people would spoof the GPS location to make it seem like the coverage that they were providing with CBRS radios was much broader than it actually was. And then because people wanted just to map and not actually buy the hardware and invest time and resources into standing it up, you will see a disproportionate amount of people mapping and not really providing coverage, but just in there to grab the rewards. So this is not an easy answer from any angle. But
Right.
yeah, I feel for anyone who got caught up on the denial list. It is a pain to get off. And I know I would recommend that once you've opened the ticket through crowdspot.io, you also go into the Discord, be polite, but ask for help, ask if there's anything you can do to speed up the process or what else you could offer them. They might accuse you of cheating just to be a troll. I've seen that already.
That is just crazy. Targeted locations. Most of them are in China.
Yeah. Well, one of the reasons, possibly one of the reasons for that, I mean, they all have different reasons, but it's a lot of times they like to assert it way in the middle of nowhere on the map, next to nothing, next to no other hotspots, so they can get first that 1.0 transmit scale, which is going to ensure that you get the full amount of rewards and you reward all those same hotspots the full amount. But it's also based on the challenges and how they're targeted. So challenges, which is what generates a beacon, basically what generates the activity, are targeted per area. So if your hotspots are the only hotspots in an area, you're going to receive 100% of the challenges every time.
Right.
That's another way to optimize your cheated earnings. Now, I am talking about this more openly. I don't like giving people bad ideas. I don't recommend gaming the network. However, now that this solution has come into place and people are being found much more quick, and many of the most problem areas have been added to the denial list, I don't think we're going to be seeing that same method
Anymore. Right.
So I did see a comment about off-chain POC, which we're going to talk about, and that is a good point. When we're moving into off-chain POC, it's no longer going to be a targeted fashion. So what I just mentioned, the target by area, that's no longer applicable, right? And I know this is going over some of your heads. I'm going to try to make this as simple as possible, but let's hit some of the other immediate criteria. But I do want to give a shout out to all the YouTubers who were making these videos showing people how to reassert the hotspot location so people could get a higher transmit scale, not explaining the reason for the transmit scale or how it marginally affects their earnings as opposed to their neighbors' earnings, right? There's a reason that system was in place, and for you to for you to show people how to go around it actually is part of what caused so many people to be unfairly on the denial list, because the metrics they're looking at are the signal strength between hotspot transmissions and the distance. So these YouTubers who are telling you, oh, assert your hotspot all the way over in this hex so you can have a 1.0 transmit scale, that is part of the reason these people are getting flagged. Not all cases, but many of them. So, round of applause, YouTubers. I understand why people hate us. Yeah, that's something I was complaining about early on. And Helium even put some of those videos showing people how to get around the transmit scale on the community content list.
Wow.
It blows my mind. These are all issues that, you know, oh, we're getting a lot of nice comments right now too, huh?
Yeah, I'm seeing
This
it.
is a
I'm seeing
heated
it.
discussion. I love it.
Joe,
But yeah, these issues have been amplified by stupidity. Go ahead. Sorry.
You said you mentioned the middleman method. Do you think that can still be something people can do? And the denialists can't really see that, or
It can in some instances if you're very slick about it and you're not going to earn you're not really going to earn disproportionately more by doing it.
Right.
I know people who still do that, but they're not necessarily doing middlemen in all cases. What they like to do is get like Raspberry Pis and they put just a LoRaWAN card on it, SX1302, and forward that traffic, which is just UDP port 1680. They forward all the traffic from the non-hotspot, just a Raspberry Pi with a chip, to their actual hotspot with an open port so they can receive traffic, proof of coverage traffic from down the road, shuttle it over the internet right into their hotspot, and that's what processes the traffic that they're seeing. So there was a lot of that.
That's nuts.
I happen to know something very interesting about someone's hotspot. I'll save it. I don't want to call anyone out. But if you know, you know. Okay.
Okay.
And
I'm
going to stop
later.
there. Maybe. We'll see. Okay, so, but hey, on the bright side, you know what we have? For all the hotspots that were poorly asserted off miles down the road into another hex, and for also because there's so many hotspots that have just been congregated up, like I see like 60 per hex, which is absolutely nuts. So they have another Helium improvement proposal to cut back the costs for reassertions of location from $10 worth of data credits to $5 worth of data credits. It's actually up for a vote right now, and I'm sure it'll bring joy to your heart and mind to know that it is Helium improvement proposal number 69.
Hell yeah. HIP 69.
Oh,
very nice.
Helium vote. Let me double check that link.
Let me bring that up.
HeliumVote.com. Be sure to vote. Yep, HIP 69.
Reassertion fee reduction.
Correct.
The average daily mining reward per hotspot is currently equal to around 50,000 data credits and costs 1 million data credits to reassert a hotspot's location. Jeez. As a result, it would take nearly a month for the average hotspot to earn enough to pay for one location reassertion. Therefore, if we are trying to expand the network and want hotspots in saturated areas to move in less saturated areas, or moreover in lone wolf-like areas, the current reassertion price is not viable and needs to be reduced. I see.
So I'm fairly certain that 1 million data credits is worth $10 USD.
Wow.
And a data credit is 1,000th of a cent. Yeah. So another thing to look out for that you'll probably have to actually take action. You should take action on it sometime soon. If you open up your Helium wallet and you're still using the blue wallet, you're going to need to upgrade to the newer wallet, which I have not done so yet. I was having an issue with the newer wallet. It's the black wallet, but there's
Right.
the reason for this is that the Helium wallet is no longer going to support any of the hotspots troubleshooting or onboarding. It will only support management of HNT. So if you buy a hotspot from Bobcat, you're going to have to download the Bobber app. If you buy a hotspot from SenseCap, you'll have to download the SenseCap app and manage it and do your diagnostics through those apps, but manage your HNT through the new Helium wallet, which it's a pain, but that is where they want to go. If you have a Helium OG hotspot, that will still be supported by the new Helium app. And this has been in the works actually since 2021.
Right.
They've had this plan.
Yeah, I played around with the new app the new app the other day, and I'm getting all these notifications of the voting and stuff on through the app as well.
Now, even if you were to wait months out to change and update to the new app, it wouldn't matter. It's
Right.
even if we've already moved on to the Solana chain, from the way it's been described by one of the developers and foundation, they want to make it accessible to for any time any stragglers can just upgrade their wallet and then migrate their hotspots onto the chain. I don't have enough insight into it yet, and I am still waiting a little bit to update my wallet. I was having an issue downloading it. I'm not sure why, but I have to look at that. I didn't have a lot of time before the stream, and I've also just been being lazy. Anyway,
That's sick.
there is a comment. So a question at Red Panda: those who have directional antennas show connections away from the physical hotspot location. Do these get banned? There is one in Las Vegas up in the mountains connecting. Closet Miner, I don't think that would be the case. I would just recommend that you assert your antenna specs correctly. Make sure you're using the correct dBi measurement. Make sure you're asserting the correct height. And I have two on a very tall building. They're 100 feet up, both directional antennas. And they're my best earners. They didn't get put on the deny list. And the majority of the time, they were only witnessing from one direction. I'm noticing with the newer off-chain POC, they're witnessing a lot more in all directions. So, from the way I understand it, a directional antenna is a legitimate use case for this network. Now, whether that falls outside the measurements, the recommendations of this algorithm that they're using and looks like an anomaly for you to be flagged on the deny list, there's no telling. I'm not sure. But does that make sense? Did I explain that right?
Yeah, I'm seeing a bunch of I'm seeing a bunch of lone hotspots in Nevada, like in the mountains.
Yeah. Hey, can you click on that? Click on it, see if it's been put on the deny list or they just turned it off, like on the left. And the actual name.
Oh, okay. So once I click on it, it should say, will it say deny or?
Yeah, it would say deny next to it. Crypto Crag writes, RedPandaMining, ask Joe, how much of a difference does it make to have the antenna up that high or on a mountain like that for earnings? If you optimize your height and location, that's the best thing you can do for earnings. It's principles of RF. line of sight and how much traffic you can see, also trying to minimize the noise that you pick up. So can you click on the name again?
Yeah.
We have a question in the audience. Go over to the left under hotspots and then click on it. Oh, that one's not asserted.
Oh.
But it would say up at the top under the 3-word name, there would be like a red deny. It would be pretty obvious.
I see. I haven't seen that yet on some of these.
Check some of them. Check some of the clusters in China. Martin writes, is it worth upgrading the Bobcat 300 antenna? If so, how much difference will it make? Thanks. So the Bobcat 300 antennas are actually pretty powerful. They're 4 dBi, which is, I certainly think, enough. They're engineered very well. I don't really see a reason to upgrade it unless you want one that is waterproof for outside in a location that is like your closest surrounding hotspots are 2 miles, 3 miles down the road, and you're in a very sparse area. I usually do 5 dBi antennas if I'm going to customize mine, but the Bobcats, I usually leave their stock antennas on there. With the regular hotspots, they typically ship with like a 1.2 dBi. I do like to upgrade those, but I don't believe that bigger is always better in this case. And it might seem like, okay, so yes, you have more power and you have more sensitivity when it comes to sending and receiving, but you're also bending the radio frequency in a different manner that might cause it. Okay, so here's a good example of the denialist up at the top there.
Yeah.
So as I was saying, when you change the antenna, what you're doing with the antenna is basically concentrating the power in one direction. So you're bending the way the radio frequency travels, and when it gets to its final destination, which is the LoRaWAN concentrator card, it may resonate slightly different with very small electronic, whatever you want to call them, circuitry, where it just doesn't really have so much of a positive impact. That's the easiest way I can explain it. And I don't really know enough to tell you the particulars there. I just go for that happy medium. So I use a 5 dBi and they've all performed well. You want to make sure that your antenna is tuned to the correct regional parameters if you're going to change your antennas. But like I said, Bobcat stock antenna in the vast majority of situations, more than enough.
Are they omnidirectional or
Yes.
directional?
Yeah, so they don't. You're going to have to buy a directional, and they run over $100 if you go down that route.
Jeez.
But yeah, I have McGill 10 dBi directional antenna. It's a panel antenna, so it's flat, that I bought from FizzTech, which is good. And then I have I think it's called Pulse Larson 11 dBi Yagi antenna. So it looks like a fatter, smaller version of like a TV antenna you'd see on a house, but that's also directional. And they both work great. But for my location, I'm on a building that's 100 feet up. I think it probably would be better to use an omnidirectional antenna.
I see.
I wanted to experiment. If you want to use a directional antenna, the reason for that being is you have only hotspots facing or in like one direction from you. Like you're all the way on the edge of a town, or maybe you're up on a mountain somewhere, and to one direction there's nothing. Theoretically, there'd be sensors that you'd want to provide coverage for, but we know you guys don't care about that because it's minimal earnings. So you're going to face a directional antenna towards the other clusters of hotspots so you can better transmit and receive between those hotspots for the proof of coverage.
Sick.
Ravenboy Crypto, is it normal not having any activity a couple days after plugging my hotspot in? Probably not. Not at this point in the game. You should see some activity pick up fairly soon. So if you have that gray transmit scale where it would typically appear as green in that box to the far left there,
Right.
and have 1.0, if it's gray and says NA, it means that you haven't seen any proof of coverage activity yet. And that may be because either you're too far away from any other hotspots, or you have a bad connection between your antenna and the board itself, the SMA connectors. Or you might have to look inside and make sure the UFL connectors, which are the really small connectors that attach to LoRaWAN concentrator, you want to make sure those are attached. So I would recommend peeking in the sides if you can, so you don't break open the box and void the warranty. Some, like with the SunScap, you can actually get away with opening it up and looking inside. But any other questions you guys want answered real quick? Lee Kaczmarek asks, never had an outdoor antenna. Are they grounded? You probably should ground them. Now, if you get a direct hit from lightning, your hotspot is fried no matter how good you ground it. But the reason you would ground an antenna is to protect it basically from, like, if a lightning was to strike nearby, it's still going to give off a charge that is enough to burn out the transceiver of your hotspot. So it would take that charge and dissipate it in most cases. So I know a lot of people who don't do it. A lot of people, they don't ground their antennas. I guess it's personal preference, but best practice, I would say do it. There's plenty of people in the Discord who don't agree. I mean, I just kind of just hardwired, as when I do professional installations with access points that are outdoors, they always have to be grounded. I just don't see any reason you wouldn't. But whatever floats your goat.
Tyson asks, will my Starlink signal interference with a hotspot miner?
I don't believe so.
Think so. Different frequency.
Yeah, well, even with the different frequency, you'll find that, like, if someone places their helium hotspot, LoRa-based one, in a tower, like a cellular tower, although the equipment in the tower is transmitting on completely different frequencies, it's still generating enough noise to basically make that helium hotspot deaf. So when that hotspot transmits out, it sends a beacon. It can be seen by hotspots that are tens or hundreds of miles away, but it can't receive or witness any other traffic. The reason being is because it's being drowned out by all that noise that's bleeding over. And I don't really have a good explanation as to how that works, but just because it's on a different frequency does not necessarily mean it won't interfere, especially if it's very close in proximity.
Matt K. Frequency do hotspots operate on? North America is 915 megahertz, I believe. I don't know what the other countries are.
I was reading a comment, and I forgot what the question was. Yeah, it
868 for Europe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep. So there's a range of frequencies for it's basically by regulation of the government, right?
Right.
So they allocate that part of the radio frequency spectrum and say, this is open for personal use, and you can use it for what you want as long as you abide by the regulations, which are basically like dwell times, how often you can transmit on that frequency and how long you can take up that airtime for. So it's an unlicensed part of the spectrum, but I know that doesn't answer your question. You'll have to look at the any LoRa documentation is pretty much on par, but look at what Helium recommends, because they have, as we've seen, changed some of the frequency plans where there are locations in the world that have numerous frequency plans available that use different parts of a similar piece of the spectrum. So you want to buy an antenna that's optimized for what Helium is transmitting and receiving on.
That was what Australia, the issue in Australia, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I feel for those guys with that whole situation, because I know a lot of people say nobody uses a Helium network. This is stupid, whatever. Well, there are professionals in this industry that came from industrial Internet of Things or the IoT space in general, that when they found the Helium network, they were building on it, and they did consulting. They used it in solutions that they sold to people. And when the frequencies changed without much prior notice, well, the frequency plan changed without much prior notice, and their devices that they had put on the network stopped functioning properly, they had to jump through hoops to stand up. A lot of them used the Things network gateways, which that's always been an open, like, it's not an open network. You do have to pay for packages on it, but basically anyone can stand up one of those nodes. And LoRaWAN's been around for over a decade now. It's a standardized solution. It fits as part of the puzzle. It's not going to be the end-all be-all for IoT, but I do believe what Helium's doing is special and has actually proven a lot in the tippin space, as many would call it, token incentivized physical infrastructure network, or public infrastructure network, whatever you want to say. We have 100 buzzwords that nobody knows what is what. The point being is that you're incentivizing people to stand up their own infrastructure and earn, and we're moving away from the tech giants who collect and sell our data and charge us for every last bit of data that we send, which is the biggest scam there is. Anyway, we'll talk about off-chain proof of coverage. So many of you may have noticed that it's different over the past few days how your hotspot has been earning, how often it's been sending and receiving beacons and witnesses. And the reason for that being is that Helium is moving to what's called off-chain proof of coverage. And instead of challenges being initiated by the blockchain through a randomized mechanism, this whole process is going to move to oracles, and it's actually going to be more frequent and more I have this thing called tip of the tongue, where there's a word I want to use but I can't find it, and it happens in every video. So that's why I pause like this. It's going to be more frequent and more regular. So it's not going to be as random where you're like, oh, I beacon 5 times today, but yesterday I didn't beacon once at all. It should be, there should be less gaps in time between the beacons.
Right.
Which, because we're not using the blockchain any longer, there's going to be more through. basically the blockchain was limited by the amount of transactions you could push, and all the proof of coverage what am I trying to say here? Proof of coverage traffic would qualify as a transaction. So it had to be written to the blockchain, and
Right.
it just could not scale on Helium. So when they decided to move to the Solana layer 1, it's not going to be natively built on Solana. You have to have like an intermediary solution to handle the functions that are specific to the Helium network. So in this case, it would be oracles. So they're standing up oracles. I've heard that anyone will be able to host an oracle. I'm not certain on it. I haven't seen a lot of specifics on who can do it and what, and if there's going to be rewards for it. However, the point being is that the oracles, because they don't have to rely on the amount of verification and processing that's done on the blockchain and those bottlenecks, they can analyze much more traffic than the prior solution. So basically what we're getting at here is with off-chain POC, it opens up the ability to beacon way more, and with that, more regularly, more often. But with that, when other hotspots witness that transmission, they witness the beacon. Right now, it's capped at 14 other hotspots max can witness that, and they're random at that. So let's say I got the best location with my hotspot and it's witnessing every beacon. That doesn't mean I'm going to be rewarded for every one of them. But with going to off-chain POC, they want to open it up so there is an unlimited amount of hotspots that can witness any given beacon, and that's going to give a way more accurate description, visual description, and data analysis of who's legit and what a hotspot's setup is actually, what how quality it actually is. It will just reflect in a manner that is much more easy to decipher because you have more data to work with, and the data is not randomized.
Interesting. So you've been noticing more rewards.
Yes, actually, my rewards for my best hotspots, they've more than doubled.
Whoa.
Yeah, but right now, so the off-chain POC went active 2 days ago, so February 2nd,
Yep.
and there has been some oddities that they've been noticing, and I'm actually going to read from the Reddit post that was pinned. Oracle-based IoT proof of coverage. This is an update to the deployment of Oracle-based IoT proof of coverage, which was activated yesterday at 1600 UTC. The core developers are currently aware of 5 issues that need to be fixed with the deployment. They are beacon spread factor, SF, is unnecessarily lower. We'll come back to that. Invalid witness error, self-witness should be removed. Invalid witness error, witness RSS too high is too strict. Invalid witness error, scaling factor not found. Reward shares for beacons and witnesses may not be calculated correctly. So we'll start off with the very last one because that's much easier to understand. I can post this. I'll post this link in the comments if you guys want to take a read.
Yeah.
But basically, what that last point is saying is that when a bunch of hotspots witness that beacon, they get like fractions of the reward depending on how many they have to share amongst each other, right? So it's just not, it hasn't been fair in some instances, and not sure why that is. They're researching it. I don't know what scaling factor not found is, but that's obviously an error. Witness RSSI too high is too strict. So this is something that has been a problem in the past, all the way back to 2021, where you would get an invalid witness if your received signal strength indicator was too high. That would basically, that's what they were using to figure out if hotspots were too close to each other, and realize it wasn't that great of a metric. But I don't know why this was adjusted. It seems like it was unintentional with the new POC, but who knows? Maybe not. Maybe that was an intentional change that they did not like the outcome of it. Invalid witness error, self-witness should be removed. I'm not sure how a hotspot witnesses itself, I would assume, because it sends out that radio transmission and possibly bounces back. I have seen that in the past, but not with the hotspot.
Right.
So yeah, it was a sensor that did that, which is very interesting. RF is like magic. Some of the ways that it works, you just can't explain, and that's why it's awesome. That's also why this algorithm is not necessarily completely accurate, because you cannot take into consideration every last factor and completely understand why that behavior is taking place in every situation.
Awesome. People are inquiring about the giveaways. We will look at the pinned comment in the live chat. That's how you guys can participate. We'll be choosing the winners very soon.
Yeah, so there's two devices that we're giving away on behalf of Seed Studio, aka SenseCap. The first one would be an Helium SenseCap M1 hotspot. I actually have one. They're very quality. They're a great hotspot, and I can't say enough good things about Seed Studio. I know one of the gentlemen in our presence had a stream yesterday where he said he wasn't such a fan, and that's fine, but I have to disagree. When the things were happening with Helium in the very beginning, where all these different vendors were missing their shipping deadlines and they couldn't produce hotspots fast enough. Yeah, sorry, I'm getting off topic here. The other thing we're giving away in that second link is a sensor. So we decided to give these away separately because there would probably be more interest in the hotspot than in the sensor. But if someone actually wants its sensor and wants to participate and utilize it rather than leaving it on the shelf, we're just going to do it separately, so only the people who actually want it participate. Anyways, what I was talking about before, which I can't even remember what I was saying. Let me read my notes. I'll try to remember what I was saying.
SenseCap was able to push out devices and hardware during the hard times.
So when SenseCap got approved, they actually ramped up shipping very quickly. And what I liked about them is that they were giving people a fair shot at getting a hotspot. They'd say, okay, we're going to raffle some off today, one to each individual, because they didn't want the whales just buying all of them up and deploying them. They wanted to give all the people, regular folks, a chance to get their hands on one and start earning. And they produce a very quality product. Their customer service is excellent. And the people that I've had to work with, as far as when I can't really say I'm a partner necessarily, they just send me hardware, I demo it, I review it, or use it in a video. I do setup videos for them occasionally, and I don't make a whole lot of money off of this. The affiliate codes, I mean, if there was one negative thing I could say, I guess, the affiliate codes don't pay a lot, but that doesn't matter to me because they're a good company. They produce good hardware, good solutions. They take care of their customers, and like I said, they send me hardware to demo and utilize, and that's enough for me. They also support our channels by doing these giveaways, which they're also supporting another one tomorrow for a Flux. Well, it's a SenseCap M4 Square Flux Cumulus node that's pre-built, and they're sharp. I like them a lot. Now, I know some of you may say you could build one for cheaper, do it yourself. And yes, that's true. But there's a lot of people that are just getting into crypto now who appreciate the off-the-shelf, plug-and-play, less technical sort of setup. And that's what they're doing here. The device is great.
SenseCap
Chris and I will
M4.
be reviewing that tomorrow on the stream, but we're giving away one of those tomorrow. There you go, M4. Now, something to keep in mind here. Okay, Ri-Fi asks, so do any of you guys actually use the IoT network, or are we all just supporting it, hoping to profit? I have a couple devices that I use it for. I have a track pack from Neil. I put it, well, I actually got to find it because I'm about to travel in a minute, but I usually put it in my luggage in the case it gets lost on the plane or someone walks off with it. I'll be able to find it. I know a lot of people who are building on it, IoT professionals. It's not necessarily my line of work. If I find a solution, like something that fits my everyday life that I need, that works on the Helium network, I'll use it. And there is development happening on the Helium network from, people like Travis Teague. He was a Nova developer, but prior to that, he built primarily LoRaWAN solutions for consulting gigs, Department of Defense. We talked about it on the live stream, and then he came along and helped Helium understand better the LoRaWAN side, right? Really do a true implementation. There's other guys like Hacking This and That, another YouTube channel. He has a lot of good setup videos, but he's been in IoT for decades. Gristle King, he has a lot of good content on just getting into IoT and trying to figure out where the market is for selling these solutions. What are the different types of solutions you can come up with and help people lower their overhead? TrackPack, I mentioned BFG Neil. That's probably Helium's poster child for utilizing the network. So I've said this before. Excuse me, my lips are really chapped today. I have to keep putting it out. I'm getting sick. But so I've said this before, and I know it seems like a long shot, and people say nobody uses a network. So the first thing you have to keep in mind is that these devices, typically like the sensory ones, they send off bytes of data at a time. When you connect your phone to your Wi-Fi at home or whatever, let it run on 4G, 5G, and you're browsing the internet, it's typically sending megabits at a time, where these devices, they'll send maybe two 24-byte packets out at a given time, a very fractional amount. And for a 24-byte packet, it costs a thousandth of a cent. Now, is it possible that they raise it to be a hundredth of a cent in the future? So they end up profiting more, and it's still going to be very competitive pricing wise in comparison to something like the Things Network. It is possible. So, however, with that very minimal amount of data at a time, plus the thousandth of a cent every time of the transmission, that's that's going to be a lot. That's going to be a lot of devices on the network that you need to start raking in thousands of dollars, and for that portion of the pie that is minted for the data credits spent, the H&T minted from the data credits spent, that'll take a long time to mature. And there's reasons for that as well that I've talked about in the past. But first one being, although LoRaWAN has been a standardized solution for over a decade now, and it's used in different for different business purposes where something like Bluetooth or NB-IoT or Wi-Fi doesn't work for connectivity. 4G LTE with SIM cards is too expensive. You need a long-range solution, but you don't need a lot of data, and you don't want to pay out the nose to send that little bit of data every 30 minutes. LoRaWAN certainly works. I kind of lost where I was going with this, but the point I was getting to here is that because it's a crypto-based network, number one, a lot of businesses are hesitant to actually use it. And I think we're going to see that change as more businesses warm up to crypto. Another reason is because there is not a what you call a service level agreement where there has to be an uptime maintained, 5 nines, 6 nines, whatever, 99.999%. Or some of the issues that we're seeing with the network itself are things like what happened with the Australian region, where they did what I consider to be a half implementation. It just came out of nowhere. There wasn't enough testing done beforehand. There wasn't enough time to migrate those devices. And then when it was implemented, not everything worked. Now, they'll debate you on that point, but regardless, any business who sees that kind of procedure or lack thereof, and they're scoping this out as a potential solution, they're going to say, no thanks, I'll pass. Cool network, but not with those type of procedures. That's the reality of it. So that's something I argue has to be tightened down.
Did Lime scooters ever get involved?
So Lime scooters and some of the other ones,
Yep.
they sorry, I'm getting distracted by a comment from Oval Board Tech that I'll elaborate on. So Lime scooters, they had in the beginning, basically, I wouldn't call it a partnership. It would be like basically, I don't know what you want to call it, like a
temporary
valuation partnership where it's like, all right, work with our devs. We'll let you use these products and help you understand our network and help you with your scooters. And then Helium's like, yeah, partnership. And then Lime is like, okay, we're done. And then, the intern never removed Lime from their site. I think it was a small blunder that was made out of, I would believe it's a genuine mistake that was made. I mean, to keep track of everything that's happening with all these vendors or all these businesses on an open network that anyone can utilize, and they have a lot better things to do than maintain a website. They like to answer the angry comments in the Discord. Point being is, I think that was made into a bigger deal than it actually was. Now, that's my stance. But yes, the website should have been updated. I've actually I was one of the people who would criticize most how often the website and the documentation was updated. So for whatever it's worth, my opinion, Chad, I don't know why you're saying this about Panda. Panda is a great guy.
I'm muted. I'm just blowing my nose like crazy.
He says you're a nut job.
I love it. Chad Dawson. Love it.
And has Bobby from Helium. He's a star in the Helium Discord. So, anyways, I do see this network panning out. It's good, and with all those factors in mind, and also considering it's still kind of new, there is not a track record for the performance. There is also not a lot of publicity thus far, I guess you would say. Not enough people know about it who would actually want to use it. So as we see more momentum pick up, hopefully, I think we have a fighting shot. And then we'll talk about how the whole open 5G, I use the term 5G loosely, but we'll talk about how these other networks will play into the Helium ecosystem overall and HNT. I see a comment from Predrag Radosevljic, and he asks, what about new miner Neo? And I'll tell you what, I'm not even giving it a chance because it's from MXC MatchX, which was a complete ripoff to begin with, and a network that has no utility, two tokens that don't do anything other than you can stake them over and over and over and get rewarded with more tokens or get gift cards for staking. In my opinion, very Ponzi-like. I don't understand how their network has any revenue. I have a whole video going over point by point of everything that is suspicious about that network. I advise you check it out before you spend any money on anything MXC. But some people like it. Some people like endlessly staking their tokens and putting it in a non-custodial wallet, putting it in, or no, it's a custodial one. When someone else holds your HNT, right? Or your tokens, excuse me, whatever. It's held by Cobalt Capital. When you have it in your wallet, which is the app, it's actually all pooled together. And then once you take a payout, your health score goes down, your gas tank goes down, so you're punished. You no longer earn the amount you would have before. Basically, forced compliance, making sure no one cashes out of the scheme. They do a bunch of buybacks all the time to keep that token price naturally inflated. So with all that forced compliance, all the staking, which is just an artificial pump, and the buybacks, then I hear the MXC fanboys going, oh, well, it's the only token that's outperformed all the crypto markets by 50%. Yeah, no kidding. Wonder why. That is the crypto meme of the year. But hey, some people like endlessly staking. Have at it. Not financial advice.
Love it.
And another thing, they tell you that the height of where you place the hotspot does not necessarily matter. And you can also have 10 in your closet or in your basement and still earn the same as everyone else. Look, I understand this proof of coverage model isn't easy to get right, but you're going to tell me the principles of RF and network coverage don't apply for businesses that actually want to use this network? You're pulling my leg. Yeah, and then Predrag Radosevic writes, but it mines Dogecoin. Mines? I want to know what the gimmick is there. You're going to tell me you're mining a proof of work coin with less than a watt of power?
Scam.
Maybe if it was my first day in crypto, I'd believe that. This stuff drives me crazy. Low power Bitcoin mining.
Do
What's
they?
the catch? Oh, you got to stake MXC. And then when you go to
Oh.
cash out your Bitcoin, you lose almost half of what they paid you for a transaction fee.
Oh,
It's outrageous. It is outrageous.
scam. Do they advertise the Dogecoin on their website?
Yes.
What?
And they've been saying, they've also been saying since the beginning of 2021 that they'd have Polkadot mining. Still, look, even if it is a gimmick and it's all BS, they haven't found a way to implement it yet. Why not? Why not just buy some and let the people who purchase this hardware just believe that they're mining it when you just divvy it out through a smart contract for them staking? I don't know. I wonder what the holdup is there. Anyways, back to helium.
Back to helium.
We're over. We got a lot more to go here still, and
Love it.
we've already been going for like an hour and a half. Do you want to? Did we choose the winner of the M1 raffle?
No. You want to do that now?
Do that right now, yeah.
All right, let's do it. Let me do that.
And we'll choose the winner of the sensor.
Sensor. Let's do the winner for the sensor first, and then we'll do the M1. Okay. So, did you guys get your comments in? Let me see here. So this is the video. We got two different videos here. We're going to comment picker on. And so, yeah, 123 comments and 135. Okay.
So that one, so Chris's there is for, well,
Oh, did I get the wrong video? Let's see.
so Chris should be the Seed Studio M1.
Ah, okay.
I think. No, sorry.
Second to
My
yellow.
video will be second to yellow will be the Seed Studio
Okay.
M1. My video is going to be the sensor.
Okay, so we'll do the sensor one first. We'll do your video. Make sure you guys go subscribe to Network Bits. Come on, he's at 5.59K subscribers. Let's get him to 6K subscribers, guys. All right, hold on. Let me copy this video in the chat. Guys, go comment there and subscribe. We're going to choose the winner for the sensor. And it's this guy right here. This is the CO2 temperature and humidity sensor for outdoor and indoor air quality. CO2 meter, IP66.
Let me make sure none of these comments are getting held up by the YouTube algorithm.
Okay.
Also, if you're just now joining and haven't heard, we're going to be doing a live stream tomorrow, same time, 11 a.m. U.S. Central Standard Time, and we'll be giving away a SenseCap M4 Square Flux Cumulus node.
That's tomorrow in about 22 hours.
On RedPandaMining. And we'll also have Mining King, Max Voltage, and Chris Bagnall here with us to discuss Flux. Okay, so it doesn't look like any comments have been held for review.
Okay, so getting YouTube comments. Okay, here we go, guys. 124 unique comments. Nice. So this is for the SenseCap sensor S2103 LoRaWAN sensor. Here we go, guys.
Yes.
You guys ready? 3, 2, 1.
Hit it. There is a comment in the question in the comments asking if you need to stake Flux on the node. Yes.
Yes. 1,000 or 12,500 or 40,000 for the Stratus node.
Well, yeah. So the one we're giving away is a Cumulus, so that will be 1,000.
Well, we're not giving away the Flux, but we're giving away the hotspot itself. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Flux you'll need to either mine or buy yourself. The 1,000 Flux. That's quite a decent amount. I think it's almost $1,000.
Mines. Congratulations.
Congratulations, PC Mines. Congrats. You've won the sensor. Yes.
Nice.
Please email me, good friend. contact@redpandamining.com. Please send me a picture of you logged into your YouTube account. Going to your About page. Take a screenshot of that. And congrats, man. You won the sensor. Okay. So now we're going to do the giveaway of the M1 Indoor Gateway, the SenseCap M1. Let's do it, guys. This is on second TL Lucky Mining's video. He is almost at 1,000 subscribers. Hold on, let me He is at 937. Guys, can we please get second time Lucky Mining to 1,000 subs? Can we do that this live stream?
He has outstanding content.
He's got amazing, the best content. He's at 939 subs. I won't do the giveaway until I see over a 1K, guys. I'm linking him in the live chat. Let's see it. 951, 953. 956. Come on, bros. $966. 969. 30 more. Can we get 30 more subs? Can we do it, guys? Come on. $972. Come on. We're so close. Then we'll do the M1 giveaway, guys. 25 more people. 25 more subs.
So, Chad Dawson actually asked a good question.
Yep.
Can you convert any helium hotspot to be a flux node? And the answer is no. It has to be a Raspberry Pi and be the 8 gigabytes of RAM version. Raspberry Pi 4. And not all helium hotspots are Raspberry Pis. Many of them are like compute module 3 or 4 boards. Some are custom made. It all depends, but you want it to be a Raspberry Pi. You can do it with any other hardware, but just to answer the question there. Now, I'm not sure how I feel about converting a hotspot. I guess it all depends on your situation and whether you feel it's worth it or not. I got a lot of good earners, so even if I could convert them, probably still wouldn't. Cryptechnology writes, just got the Field Tester Pro from Rack Wireless. I've been testing the network on console.
Nice. Guys, second TL needs 17 more subs. I would love to see him over 1K, guys. Come on, 17 more people. We're so close. Really appreciate it, guys. He's been making content for a while now. I feel like everyone who's here might have subbed already, but 15 more people. Then we'll do the giveaway here. We're so close. We got 135 unique comments on his video for the sense cap. Getting really close here. This is for the hotspot. LoRaWAN indoor gateway. Value of $520.
There's a comment that says, tell Panda that Demo was a total nightmare hooking up.
What's Demo?
Basically a data collection device that goes in your car. It hooks up to your car's system and takes some of those metrics as well as driving patterns, I guess, like detecting whether there's a delay or the roads suck.
Oh.
Whether they aggregate and sell that data, from what I understand. I'm not very familiar with the project, so I might be mischaracterizing that a little bit. So do your own research. However, I'll tell you what, I love my Hive Mapper. I got a lot of videos on it. Well, I got 2 videos on it. I'll be making more videos on it, but I have enjoyed driving into work some mornings with my Hive Mapper and mapping along the way, and the earnings have been pretty good. But it is one of the projects that is also using the Helium network, Now they don't use it as the primary method of sending data. They use it as, it's basically the third way, the tertiary option of verifying location. So what they're doing is sending out transmission over LoRaWAN and seeing, based on where the GPS sensor in the Hive mapper has described it being, what hotspots are actually hit that are nearby, what hotspots pick up that data, and then they compare and contrast it to other cars with a Hive mapper who were also in that same or similar location that transmitted, and seeing if those same or similar hotspots were able to receive that transmission. So not the primary means of communication, just another verification method. And it might seem unnecessary, but I'll tell you it's not. The ways people will game a network will amaze you. The amount of effort they go through to pinch pennies, pinch fractions of a penny, as we've seen with some of the data credit abuse through Helium. When you can automate it, it starts to add up. The cheating that happens with these systems is, I mean, it's really the reason we have blockchain in the first place, so no one can cheat it, right? Proof of work. But when you want to add applications in on top of that and other infrastructure, you need to come up with alternative methods, and unfortunately that many times leads it to being not such a decentralized solution. However, I am willing to entertain the thought and the idea of crowdsourced infrastructure by the people for the people, so we're no longer being held hostage to the tech tyrants. Let's do this.
Let's do this, man. Second TL, we got him to 1,000 subs. 1,000. Thank you, guys. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Really appreciate that. All right, let's choose the winner, guys. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Mew. Is Mr. Mew here? US. I love helium miners. Mew, congratulations. Second TL, you're here. What's up, man?
There's a reason I picked second TL, because I started looking at his content.
Oh, no. Mew, congratulations. I just reset the page by accident. Is Mr. Mew here?
Send some traffic to second TL because he makes such good content, but his subs are coming very slow.
Yeah. He needs
then you
subs.
have all these other Yahoo YouTubers who have no idea, and they're just
100%
on fire.
Yep, like myself. Mew, congrats, buddy. I see you.
Like myself.
Congrats, man. You won this. Please email me. contact@redpandamining.com.
We see you.
Mew, I see you in the chat. Congrats.
You need to have proof that it is your YouTube channel.
Yes, please email me your about page. Contact@redpandamining.com. Okay, Mew? Email me right now.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. All right, Joe.
Okay, I'm going to try to
Next topic.
jam through the rest of this
Okay.
as fast as possible. Anyways, the Solana move that you guys are all so thrilled about. What would be a crypto stream without talking about NFTs?
Oh,
right? Yes.
can't wait.
Helium will have the biggest NFT minting in history on the Solana chain upon migration. And what this is NFTs will basically be your proof of ownership on the chain. So look, don't give away the NFT to your Valentine's Day sweetheart, please. Probably not, probably something you want to hold on to. Just saying. But it will be a cute or an ugly animal depending on your 3-word hotspot, which is the color, adjective, and an animal. So it'll be auto-generated, and it'll have your hotspot's information ingrained in a technical manner that basically validates it on the chain. So yeah, like I said, don't send them out as gifts. Only when you're selling or purposely moving your hotspot to another wallet. Anyways, I know we're going to hear all the FUD around Solana. And personally, I don't care for Solana. Were there better options? Potentially. I think HBAR was a great option. We didn't see a lot of the other ones, an in-depth technical presentation on them. However, that's the one that they decided to choose because in the past, Nova Labs had a working relationship with Solana. I understand why this may look shady to the community. Hey, it's business in a sense. Look, if you consult with a company 5-10 years ago and they still fit the bill for what you want to do today, and you know the people on the inside, might be a safe bet to go with them. The whole deal with the downtime on Solana. Look, I haven't studied Solana enough to know if it's a tremendous solution or a poor solution, but I'll say this. The downtime means very little to the Helium system because even if the blockchain were to go down, because they're being crypto cowboys, as many of you would describe them, even if the blockchain was to go down, the oracles are still going to be processing the proof of coverage traffic. The LoRaWAN network servers are still going to be processing the data traffic. You won't notice anything immediately. The network will still function. You will still be paid out those rewards. Unless the network goes down forever, then yeah, there's a problem there. But the bits of downtime is it's really nominal, in my opinion. There's a lot of concern about SBF's involvement with Solana. They thought it was the end because of that. When the FUD hit and the coin price sank, once again, it was the end of the world for Solana, according to some people on the Reddit and the Facebook groups. What was the other one? There was something else that happened. Oh, there was a cloud hosting provider that kicked a bunch of validators off their services, which I think was stupid to have it centralized like that to begin with. But regardless, that was supposed to be the end of Solana. Look, that's all noise. Unless the blockchain functionally comes to a halt for an extended period of time, it's not going to matter. The token price doesn't really matter. I think we're past the worst of times. I could be wrong. Yeah, could it have been better chosen? Could there have been a better discussion around what solution should have been, which solution should have been considered and ultimately chosen? Yes, I agree, 100%. Maybe there is some merit to this whole Solana Saga phone fitting in with the Helium Open 5G solution. I don't know. I haven't tried it. Cool, I guess. I know that there's a lot of people, for as many that say that, Solana is not only a POS in terms of blockchain consensus, but as a solution itself as a POS. There's many who will tell you it is what they're dumping all their money into and going to change the world of crypto. So, I don't know. Take everything with a grain of salt. I'm not too salty about it. also, along with that, there's a major change coming for the LoRaWAN network server, which is basically what processes those packets and routes them to the ultimate destination. And that is going to be from the Helium's proprietary, I wouldn't say proprietary necessarily. It's basically Helium's custom solution that they have now. They'll be moving it to a very well-known open solution called ChirpStack that will have to be modified in a manner to make it decentralized. So that is a positive progression, as people who develop on LoRaWAN networks are typically very well versed with ChirpStack and their understanding of the implementation. Let's see. I think that covers Solana. The reason they're moving off of it, I just want to put this into perspective, and the way it was described by the CEO himself, when they first started developing the Helium network back in 2018, you really didn't have a lot of layer ones to choose from that would fit the bill for what they were trying to do. The gas fees on Ethereum are just way too expensive per transaction. And these leading blockchains that we see right now, regardless of whether they're proof of work, proof of stake, proof of authority, asynchronous, Byzantine fault tolerant, whatever you want to, whatever the solution is, they're just now coming of age within the recent years. They were not mature enough to actually start building on. So Helium went about building their own blockchain. And building a blockchain is extremely complex. It's like the greatest balancing or juggling act in the world, in my opinion, because one little tweak you make in one part of the code affects something that you never would have expected it to affect, or it has way more of an impact than you otherwise thought it would be. There's just so much to it that it is such a massive time and resource sink. That's what the developers have been spending most of their time on, working on the blockchain and maintaining the blockchain. Once you can move away from that and just develop the solutions on an already functional blockchain, that frees up so many people, so many resources, so much time to actually build the utility portion of the network, which is coverage, which is how proof of coverage should be calculated and analyzed properly, or features that go into, like, for example, implementing ChirpStack, where now we're going to have the ability of Class C devices to function on the LoRaWAN network. Just small stuff like that. It's actually much bigger in the overall picture, but I don't know why Panda saying he's going to quit YouTube after this.
Just kidding.
Panda, I think all the network engineering talk is making him sick.
No, dude, I love it. Did you say so? ChirpStack is mainly for IT, mainly for the IoT guys to implement
it's
easier?
always been a very popular open source LoRaWAN solution.
I see.
I mean, it's
so that will help with, obviously, for their consulting for businesses that they implement the use case for.
People who want to build on the network, they'll be like, oh yeah,
network.
you know what ChirpStack is. That's cool.
Yeah.
The only difference is that usually the way ChirpStack is run is like more centralized. It's one entity or one person setting up the LoRaWAN network server, ChirpStack, to process the traffic, where it has to be more distributed in this case. And I don't know the specifics to it. I'm not going to sit here and pretend to, other than the basics of how you set up a server and route the traffic to it, how they're going to route from a distributed network in a permissionless manner and direct the traffic. I don't know. They have some good ideas that they don't want to necessarily completely change Chirp Stack, but adapt it not only from, I guess, a more decentralized manner, but try to integrate some sort of accounting solution for payment of
Right.
data, data credits, which mint HNT that's paid to the hotspot that routed it, right?
Right. Are you saying that could some people could implement like on-prem servers and like such that kind of thing, or?
I don't want to speculate because I actually forgot exactly what the proposal was.
Okay, I see.
Yeah. Oops.
No, it's all good.
Should have come prepared.
Dude.
But yeah,
Dude.
no, it's awesome what they're doing.
Yeah.
And look, Helium had a lot of good ideas. They were the pioneers in this space. But when you see these competitors start to pop up, they're actually getting off out of the box. They're doing what Helium is just pivoting to now, which is utilizing a pre-built layer 1 and utilizing an open source LoRaWAN network server. So the two main competitors that are out there are Crankk and Things IX, Things Internet Exchange. I wouldn't discount the competitors, but Helium's the 1,000-pound elephant in the room. They have the most infrastructure. They're the most well-known. They have multiple networks. They're also considering doing other networks, which we're going to talk about, other technologies. Let's see. I think we covered everything that we have to from the Solana and Chirp Stack side. Take a quick look at the comments here. Some of the comments we get are just out of left field. Okay. You guys want to talk about 5G?
Let's do it.
Okay, so briefly explain what it is. Now, when let's decipher it or differentiate what it is. So when you guys think of 5G, you're likely thinking of what your cell phone carrier is selling you in terms of super fast internet connectivity that, like you says, you have 5G on the bars, but like when you're walking down the street and you turn the corner, it goes back to being 4G, right? Like it's a very limited distance that you have to maintain that 5G coverage. But when we're talking about it from those terms, we're talking about it in like modulation, which is basically how you'd manipulate radio frequencies to push data through it. And we're talking about the spectrum that's being used there. So a lot of people will conflate that offering from the telco providers or cellular carriers with 5G just being the 5th generation revision of technology, where if you were to like read the papers on what's considered 5G, it's not just going to be the sexiest and fastest bleeding edge technology and the new spaces that have been opened up in the RF spectrum. It's also going to be other technologies that may have existed prior and utilized on frequencies that are already open, but are just now being included as standardized for whatever reason. The point being here is that the technology that Helium's actually using, CBRS, Citizens Broadband Radio System, has been around for a while. It was considered broadband up until like I think now 5G has raised the standard for broadband to be something like a gig or faster, up and down.
Right.
Don't quote me on that. Regardless, it was something that was available for use in the past. But what 5G did from a paperwork standpoint was open up that part of the frequency to be, I guess you would say, unlicensed, but basically you can use it. You only have to register with the SAS, which is the system that reports back to the FCC who is using what frequencies in what location. The difference is here, you don't have to bid on that part of the RF spectrum to utilize it and stand up one of these CBRS gateways in the same manner that these telecom providers, the cellular carriers, have to bid millions of dollars to utilize other parts of the spectrum and provide that cellular coverage. So what you're doing here is using a technology that's already been in existence, and if you're to look at where it falls at in the spectrum, Wi-Fi is 2.4 gigahertz, 5 gigahertz. CBRS is 3.55 gigahertz. So right in the middle. So it doesn't really travel that far. If you have an outdoor radio, it's going to transmit at a higher level than like any given Wi-Fi access point would, right? So you're going to get more range, but it's not necessarily as limited as 5G. When you're thinking 5G from your carrier providers, the millimeter wavelength, which is what gives you that extremely fast end-to-end speed, but what causes 5G to have such a it causes it to you have to be very close to the tower.
The range is not as far.
There you go.
Right.
Yeah, it causes a mass restriction in the range. And so look, this stuff is not going to give you cancer. Putting a CBRS radio in your house, not going to give you cancer. Look, I wouldn't recommend standing in front of it or sleeping with it on your bedside table the same way I'd recommend you not do that with a Wi-Fi router, okay? But people put their phones up to their heads, which are also transmitting. They put their laptops on their reproductive organs. So whatever you want to make of it, the point being is it's not like nothing near like if you were to go and actually stand out right beneath one of the cellular towers that is transmitting on all these different parts of the spectrum. That will give you cancer.
Yeah. So you're saying the helium 5G, what they're advertising is what, like a 4.5G kind of tech?
It's basically a technology that's been in existence since 4G, maybe possibly longer than that, but
Right.
has just been rebranded for people and businesses to use
Right.
to their will, as long as they're willing to pay a monthly fee. And it's open. You do have to go through like sort of a permit process, but that's what allows because it's been opened by the latest revision of the standards through 5G. That was the Trump administration. I think Ajit Pai was the FCC guy in charge. That is what made CBRS possible and why we have it in the US where most of the other world doesn't. They're reliant on telco carriers only having access to those services. So anyways, the point being, because you can stand these up, now people are actually standing up a decentralized cellular carrier. And it's not only Helium doing this. There's Helium Mobile. There's also XNet Mobile. Pollen Mobile, they're like one foot in the grave, the other on a banana peel, or I guess you'd say the other on a rug, whatever you want to say. Point being is they really did their community dirty. And a lot of people are moving off that network to come on to both Helium and XNet if they're hardware is compatible. Anyways, I do believe in this model. It might be a tough turnaround time. It might take a while to adapt, but what it comes down to is when people finally realize that they have the coverage because it's being provided by one of their neighbors or someone down the street, and they say, I'm tired of paying this bill to these to Comcast or whatever the telco is that's local, that is going to cap you on your data, and you have to be locked into a contract and renegotiate it every year. Well, if I can just get a dongle, or hey, I can get an eSIM, just an electronic SIM card, or you can get a physical SIM card if you want. But let's try this out. Let's see if it works. I'm going to support my local neighbors who are providing me this service and buy it from them. And I might even save money because I'm not going to use a whole lot of data that I'm not paying for, right?
Right.
And if it works out, well, you have a customer until, for whatever reason, that customer decides to leave because he's not locked into a contract. But if all goes well, the word gets around. Hey, maybe it's a pipe dream. I don't know. We got to try to figure this out.
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather try, and I think it will work. But if we fail, at least we, can live out this lifetime knowing that we try to get away from the evil tech powers that be.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know how you guys see it. These asses are selling our data, tracking our every move, pinching every cent that they can, and charging all sorts of fees for no reason. It's such a scam.
Second TL asks, if CBRS is open, doesn't it get congested with other people besides Helium?
Well, you have to register for the location that you're going to use. So if there are multiple other people or entities using that same channel, you're not going to be able to use it.
I see.
Anyways, there's another project that deserves a worthy mention, but they've kind of made a massive pivot recently. Regardless, lrAFZ.net, they're another decentralized ISP that's based on crypto. Basically, ISP in a box. You provide the internet connectivity. You provide the physical access to your neighbors, whether you want to give them a fiber handoff, a Cat5, Cat6 handoff, point-to-point radio shot, wireless mesh, whatever. And then they take care of all the configuration and legal compliance stuff from a routing endpoint, and you got redundancy, end-to-end encryption, at least between you and your neighbors, etc. So a lot of cool stuff happening in this space that we need to be paying attention to.
That's sick.
It's pretty awesome. Now, look, you can do this with fiat money. There's other solutions that exist like this, that when people don't have good internet in way off rural locations, they're forced to start their own ISP or utilize a solution like this. So it has been done before. Now there's some concerns about, hey, do you actually need crypto and a blockchain for this? We can debate that. All right, so anyways, let's continue on. Yeah.
Is 5G now the cost
Profitable?
of getting into it and profitability?
Yes. So I'm not going to run all of the calculations for whether it's profitable or not,
No.
because that is going to change very short when the Genesis period expires. So the Genesis period, they were basically divvying out an allocated amount per 5G hotspot or 5G rig, whatever you want to call it. And it was profitable. People were making even the smallest deployments, which would be like just a hotspot and an indoor radio unit. If you had it set up and had enough bandwidth, you were making about 105 a month in mobile tokens. Now, personally, and this is my thought, with the way HIP 51 works, I'm not entirely sure how they could derive the value of what the mobile token would be. Maybe. I just don't. I don't know. Maybe they're comparing it to what they're going to airdrop us in IoT. But I'm going to give you guys the rundown on that system in a minute. You can buy multiple different types of 5G rigs, basically depending on how much coverage you want to provide in a given location. You can get up to 4 radios and put it on a roof somewhere, and you'll earn significantly more. There are a lot of requirements around it, a lot of complexities. That's a decision for you to decide whether you want to take that risk or not, how much you believe, how much money you have to sink in. I'm not going to try to sell you on it. I love the idea. I commend them for what they're doing and everyone who's participating, but I can't sit here and promise you guys anything. I don't know. If I had the money, I'd buy one, but I don't. So, yeah.
We'll get you one, Joe. We'll get you one.
Thanks.
We'll figure it out.
Well, with that being said, if you guys do own one or know someone who owns one or are going to buy one, consider having it hosted at Terra Hosting, which are our good friends. Yeah, it's up and coming business. TerraHosting.io. Limited space. They have only one roof, but they'll take care of you.
TerraHosting.io if you guys are interested.
But also offer a lot of services in the GPU and ASICs managed services. They do optimize your rigs, physically service them. Also, they have some services that are not supported by many other of these companies that you see. Like, you can actually buy a dedicated IP that you can utilize from your home specifically for hosting more than 8 Flux nodes. Like, if you had more than 8 Cumulus nodes and you had the bandwidth but you didn't have the IP space, you could possibly utilize one of their IPs, which would be provisioned out to you. You'd have to form a site-to-site IPsec tunnel.
Flux Labs partner as well.
Yes, a Flux Labs partner. There's a lot of good things in the store. Yeti did an amazing job on that website. The analytics and data you can pull are tremendous.
Amazing.
And a lot of exposure in YouTube. They have this area. I mean, they have a stranglehold on this part of the market, in my opinion.
100%.
So, anyways,
love those guys.
There's going to be a way that you can earn mobile token without hosting a CBRS radio, right? I'm not sure when this Genesis phase will end. It either did some days ago or sometime in the future. I did not read deep enough into that. However, the proof of coverage for it will begin with HIP 75, and there are multiple metrics that will be looked at to decide how much your earnings are. If you're fulfilling all the, so I'm seeing in the chat, Genesis is over. Okay, so if you're hitting all the criteria for optimal location, you can earn X amount of rewards of mobile, right? Now, one of the methods of measuring how much space 5G CBRS radio is covering is through mappers. And there's going to be two ways to map. One of them will be hardware specific, probably manufactured either by Helium or one of the partners, or Nova Labs and one of the partners, specifically created to be tamper proof, I would assume, after what we've seen with Pollen Mobile. And the other one will be if you have the Helium mobile plan that you're paying for and the app for mapping. We'll see how that plays out, but that is a chance to earn mobile tokens without having to buy the expensive hardware. Let's get into the multi-tiered system. Basically, what HIP51 did was take HNT and made it the main token, where within the coming days, your LoRaWAN gateways are no longer going to be mining or earning HNT, they'll be earning IoT. And that is the sub token for that specific network. So you have, for the CBRS Open 5G network, you have the mobile token. For the LoRaWAN network, you have the IoT token. And we may see other technologies, other networks come along, added into that. But the way it works is you're going to earn that specific token, and you're going to use that to redeem HNT. So you're going to have to think of a strategy here to maximize your earnings. Once again, not financial advice. I can tell you what my strategy will be. However, do your own research, and subject to change based on the analysis in the future and how it plays out. But real quick, it's HIP51 broke Helium up into basically a DAO system, which we're not going to get too deep into. You have Helium HNT as the main token, then you have, for each sub DAO, you have the respective token, IoT, mobile. The other networks we could possibly see are Wi-Fi DAVA, which would be like a wireless mesh plus point-to-point shots with lasers to extend that coverage. Decentralized VPN, we've seen some interesting proposals from the Boring Protocol on that front. Content delivery network, not sure what Helium has in mind for that. Willing to entertain, and some other things that I can't remember because they did not seem like a very interesting proposal. However, the point being is that all these networks are going to provide some sort of utility, and you have to buy data credits, which, whether you buy them with your credit card or you burn HMT to buy them, right? Data credits are kind of like a stable coin. So when any company or any person buys the data credits to use to pass traffic through this network, they don't have to speculate on what they just bought, whether it's going to appreciate or depreciate. They have X amount of credits that they know are going to last for this long. However, when that's spent, that is then minted and rewarded in HNT through the device that it was spent at. All this is going to lead to more utilization of the network and further contribute to that, whether you call it the flywheel or equilibrium. But what am I saying here? The oracles, they do take into account how much data transfer, how many data credits are being spent when coming up with that finalized price of HNT. So regardless, the more data usage there is on the network overall, the higher the price is going to go. The more HNT being burnt and spent. I'm not sure when we're expected to see these other networks. I wouldn't hold your breath anytime soon. So I'm not entirely sure of that, but thank you for reminding me because I was trailing off on the subject. So when you first thing you got to consider is that this might be considered multiple tax events for you when you swap the initial sub token for HNT. Depends on your laws of your region. Also, you have to consider that because of the mathematical equation that's laid out in HIP 51, the amount of HNT that you can redeem with a given amount of that sub token, whether it be IoT or mobile, will change depending on the metrics they're using to measure it. Data transfer is one of them. Devices online is another. I forget the last one, but basically, it's taken. It basically comes up with this value that determines how much in proportion you can receive in HNT with what you trade in, and it will slowly change depending on utilization of one of the networks, or depending on how much infrastructure it stood up on one of the network, the activity. I think the other one is how much is staked on the network as well. Either way, my strategy, when I actually really dug down deep into it and tried to make the predictions, once again, not financial advice. However, I can tell you what I would do when it comes to if I had IoT and mobile in my wallet, I would hold the IoT short to medium term, right? Because a lot of people, when they get their airdrops, they're going to want to just sell it off immediately. So you let them cash in, and then in turn, you're, in the first few months, I would assume the amount that you'd get proportionally will be more. However, the mobile side of things, because we're seeing so much more infrastructure stood up, and we're going to see a lot more data transfer utilized on that network within the coming months, we're going to expect their proportions to be bigger and kind of edge out what the amount you could redeem IoT be worth. It's very hard to explain this. Like proportionally, they'll slowly start to be worth. Man, I don't even know the words to use to describe this. Long story short, I think that the longer you wait with mobile, the better chance it is that you're going to be able to redeem more with the same amount. And the longer you wait with IoT, the less of a chance you're going to, or you're probably going to end up redeeming less HNT,
right,
as mobile starts to have more value in proportion. It can also change if they add another DAO, where now you have another sub network fighting for how much token you can redeem. However, keep in mind, ultimately, you get that HNT. You want to first acquire as much HNT as you possibly can, and then potentially hold to see how long the HNT will. You're going to want to sell it closer to the top. With more networks coming in, it's going to overall increase data credits spent, right? And increase overall usage of the Helium ecosystem. causes the price of HNT to go higher. Yeah, I'm not really a fan of this stupid meme that they created here. It's insulting our intelligence, whoever the dick is who put that up there. I know they think they're really funny in the Discord.
Love it.
But yeah, that no, you know what? That was from the whole Voss coin thing. And that was, we don't need to rehash it, but I'll tell the story if you guys want to hear a funny one.
People love stories.
I
Let's
already
do it.
told you, Panda. All right, so I'll tell a story after I clarify this point. Never mind, that wasn't a question. It was a statement by someone in the comments, so I will continue. But yeah, like I said, if I was accumulating mobile, I'd try to wait as long as I could to trade it in. You may be able to sell the sub tokens IoT and mobile on an exchange if they end up supporting it. These tokens are going to make it to the exchanges regardless. So if you don't want to incur multiple tax events, that might be a better option for you. Not saying that it is. You have to consider all things and do what works for you. Anyways, so when we got into this whole debate over HIP 51, I basically said that it was a PR disaster for numerous reasons. And I was, mocked a little bit. I also brought up other concerns, which, long story short, I turned out to be right in many ways, but I don't really take joy in the fact. One of them being the complexities of this were like, you've seen when someone sent like an outrageous amount of mobile tokens to Binance, that Binance actually gave them 1-to-1 in HNT. So
Really?
these people, like, I would assume that Binance clawed back the money, but they almost cashed out, or they did cash out on like $21 million worth of HNT
Holy.
because of accounting error. And it was like, man,
Jeez.
yeah, the token took a hit. It's actually considered a coin right now, HNT, because it has its own native blockchain, but will be considered a token once it moves to Solana. Regardless, HNT took a hit that day, and there was a lot of FUD. But with complex systems like this, yeah, there is even more so room for error. And I kind of brought up these points, but I had a video that I did like one night, just looking at HIP 51. They had all this discussion in the Discord, very complex, talking about probably a dozen different things that were never included in the final HIP. But out of nowhere, they dropped this HIP, and then the next day it's like, all right, we're putting it up for a vote. This is what we got, HIP 51. We got 2 more tokens that you're going to mine. And the document was very, like, the HIP itself was complex. No one had broken it down. There are a lot of people who were actually looking, like, paying attention to the discussion, but still could not figure out how it would work in a simplistic manner, like what people would have to understand when it came to exchanging these tokens and how they would be quantified in value. And to me, it would just like, this is ridiculous that if no one can look at this document and be like, okay, this is how it works, this is why it makes sense, that's a failure. That is not a good perception. And I said that in a video, and I was a little bit heated about it that night. Well, our good friend Vosscoin liked my video, and he took a clip from it, and he played it kind of towards the front of his video. I forget the exact name of the video. It was either like HIP 51 or Helium Mining Sucks Now or something like that.
Right.
It was, I think, 8 or 9 months ago now. But he played my video clip in his. So then after that, he proceeds to dunk on Helium for another 15 minutes, talking about just how unnecessary the whole change is and how ridiculous it is. And he looked at that chart, and look, a lot of people looked at that chart and came to the conclusion that we're only going to have like 1.2% of the overall rewards. I wasn't one of them who did that. Okay, Voss says he had a different context to the way he interpreted it, but a lot of people literally said, so what, we're just not going to make anything now? Mobile is going to make everything? And that's where that stupid moon thing on there came out of, because they were so mad that people came into the Discord and said 1.2%.
It was a pie chart or something, right?
Yeah, it was a pie chart, so they replaced it with moon, because when moon. Look.
Love it.
Certain people in the helium leadership show their moon quite often, but that's okay. Getting back to the story, because Voss made this video, for like the next 3 or 4 days, he had like hundreds of viewers each day come into the Discord writing angry comments, directing them at the moderators and leadership. Yeah, I think that was the one. Scroll back to like the 4:30 mark. Let's see if I'm in it. I'm pretty sure that's the one. Yeah. But people just came in and flooded the hell out of the Discord. It was just like a tsunami took over in there. The mods were so angry, but they all blamed me for his opinion. Like,
really?
He couldn't come to that conclusion himself. He doesn't have his own team that helps him on HNT. It's my fault that he came to that conclusion because he included me in his video. Okay, I'll take it. I'm running the show around here now.
That's awesome.
Yeah. No, but...
Was it this video? I'm trying to find your...
I think so. Go. Maybe it's not that one. Let me try to find it. But yeah, I was hated by so many people in the helium community after that. It was all my fault. And it was pretty funny.
That's awesome.
They only think it's a rug pull because you said it's a rug pull. No. I said I understand why they feel that way. I did not say it's a rug pull.
So much drama with helium over the past 2 years.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then, well, one of their own mods was very unhappy recently, and he created a little bit of a stir in the helium Discord a couple nights ago, bringing up legitimate issues, and the whole place was just fighting amongst themselves. I mean, some of the people that hang out there so often, they don't realize how grouchy and disgruntled they really are, and reading their comments is just so toxic.
Yeah.
But they're like going at it with each other and fighting amongst themselves. So I asked Chris to go in there and send them my warm regards, because I'm banned.
You're banned from the helium Discord?
Yeah, I got a perma ban.
Love it.
Yeah. I mean, look, my comment was politically incorrect, but they're saying it was racism and threats of violence. Very far from it. So I'm not happy over that, but I'm not going to FUD a project because I have an axe to grind with people. Just not going to do it.
Right.
So, hey, they can be rid of me in their little safe space there, but I have the bigger microphone because I have Panda's microphone.
Hell yeah.
Or whatever, megaphone.
I love it.
Excuse me.
Oh man. Together.
Yeah. So, I know many people ask, will we see the helium network token reach same all-time high again? And once again, not financial advice. I don't really have a keen sense for trying to figure out what a token is going to reach. And seems like most YouTubers don't, okay? Just because, they can read candle charts, they want you to think they're sophisticated, and anytime anytime it moves upwards, they say, "I told you so." There were a lot of events during that time during 2021 that led up to that crazy mania in the price. And of course, all altcoins follow the trend of Bitcoin or trail somewhat behind it, right? That's the main one. But the other events were still significant in size, and we'll go through what those were specific to helium itself. So the first one I would argue would be speculation based around the utility, because IoT is projected to be a $1 trillion a year economy. I think it's about eight years out from now. It's well over $300 billion a year economy as of current. Taking a small slice of that pie would be significant, but there was just a lot of speculation around this because so many people know what IoT is, and we've been hearing about this in the networking industry since, well, forever. We called it the Internet of Shit, but as of more recently, it's just like, it's coming, everything's going to be IoT. So a lot of people like the idea of helium because they understand it. However, there was also the equipment shortage. And because people couldn't get their hands on hotspots, they went out and just bought tons of HNT. Another reason. Then major crypto exchanges listed HNT, which led to a pump in price. There was more demand, more people buying it up, more volume. There was also a ton of data credits spent during 2021 because of onboarding hotspots and asserting hotspots location and antenna specs, where onboarding a hotspot costs the manufacturer $50 in data credits. Asserting the location costs the individual $10, which is usually covered by it's usually covered by the manufacturer for the first time. So that even though it's not data transfer, you're still spending an insane amount of data credits, which are further, it's burning HNT on the back end and reminting it into the system. That does have an impact on the price, where if you were to look at the HNT flywheel equilibrium, whatever, that I can never find the exact calculation. I've not been able to find it, but I'm told that for every couple $1,000,000 spent, that it has a specific dollar amount impact on the token price. That's one of the factors that the Oracle takes into consideration. Now, you have other ones, like the creation of validators towards, I think it was May that they started validators, where you need to stake 10,000 HNT to actually put a validator online, which was not an insignificant amount of money. I think that was like, what, 500,000 at the peak price? A lot of liquidity in that token was actually like locked up, and that further creates more demand on the exchanges. It's just supply and demand. You're taking it out of circulation and putting it into staking, which would lock it up for 6 months after you decided to unstake, was a cooldown period. It signifies confidence in the network when you're staking in the vast majority of cases. There was also wild speculation due to the CBRS announcement and the Dish partnership, which once again oddly disappeared, but not entirely sure what the status on that is. We haven't heard much about that other than them saying, no, we don't have a partnership with Helium for our 5G rollout. We're basically, I'm not going to get into what happened with the telcos, but for the merger to happen between, was it T-Mobile and Sprint? who merged? Two major telecom companies merged. And long story short,
Right.
they basically they said for this to happen, we need another major player to step up and start providing coverage so you don't have a monopoly on these services. And hey, Dish, you're hogging all of the frequency that you've paid for but never used. Why don't you do something with it? And Dish said, okay, we'll do it. Oh, Helium looks cool. Oh, wait, we're not going to use that. Long story short, yeah, T-Mobile and Sprint. So that led to speculation, but ended up being a popcorn fart. And then you had the halving of HNT in August 2021, which further led to less supply. Everything just aligned so perfectly during that time. I just not sure if I would put my money on seeing HNT be at the all-time high it was the last go around. Maybe it's possible. It's really incumbent on how well the CBRS network, Open 5G, performs, how much actual data they push through their crypto mobile carrier, or whatever they want to call it. But if they start pushing, if they see a massive amount of usage, that will cause HNT to increase in price. Same thing with LoRaWAN. If we see a significant pickup in the utilization of LoRaWAN, which it's kind of a bottleneck because of the throughput constraints, just by the LoRaWAN modulation itself, you're pushing bytes at a time. Regardless, the more DC burnt, the better. Or the more DC spent, the more HNT burnt, the better, right? And then the addition of other networks. Maybe we'll see more networks be added that will be utilized. Look, I'm kind of out of the loop with some of those discussions because I'm not in the Discord. So there's a good question here. So wait, is HNT not working with T-Mobile now? So what they decided to do is become they call themselves the first crypto carrier, but they're a network unto themselves. So if you were to have your Solana, what's it called? What do they call their phones? Whatever. Your fancy Solana phone, that you have a subscription to Helium and you're within range of the Helium 5G hotspot, you're going to use that for data. But if you're not within the range, you're going to roam onto the T-Mobile network. So as of right now, Helium Mobile is basically a reseller of services of T-Mobile. You get the most watered down plan of T-Mobile, and then you get like the guaranteed rates from Helium, right? Am I explaining this in a way that you guys understand?
I'm trying to visually see how these guys are earning the 5G on the mobile Explorer, and it's interesting. I don't think
I think you're going to have a whole new Explorer specifically for 5G, because I'm fairly certain what it's showing there are the LoRaWAN rewards, because they still have the regular IoT LoRaWAN antennas on them.
I see.
I think we've covered pretty much everything there that I had in mind. Another question that I've asked, I know we talked about it from a perspective of a CBRS Open 5G radio. And look, Helium's not the only one who calls themselves Open 5G. Ruckus, they're a big hardware manufacturer in the networking space. They call themselves Open 5G very proudly because it's a sexy thing to do. So I don't fault Helium. I just give the caveat, right? But what I was getting at here, we talked about it from the open 5G perspective, whether it's dangerous or not. Like I said, I wouldn't like stand in front of a wireless access point for a prolonged period of time or Wi-Fi router. You wouldn't want to do that with an indoor CBRS radio, and you sure as hell don't want to stand underneath a cell phone tower if you don't have to. But when you talk about the LoRaWAN gateways, when it comes to proof of coverage, you're doing well with the new proof of coverage. You're going to be sending out one transmission that lasts at the most a second. It is on a lower frequency, and it's not transmitting at a very high power whatsoever. It's safe. There's nothing to worry about. It transmits way less than that cell phone that you put up to your head, the laptop that you put up to your reproductive organs, the wireless access point that you work directly beneath.
Yeah.
So it's not dangerous. People ask me, should I get a amplifier? No. Good way to get caught on the denialist. Good way to, a lot of people, a good saying is, for every success story, there are 4 failure stories. And also many of those success stories end up frying their equipment because it just overpowers the chip and ultimately just fries the electronics in there. It wears them down. So I wouldn't listen to some of these people on YouTube who tell you customize it 7 ways from Sunday.
Joe, quick question. When did the denialist come out?
Let me check.
Not too long ago, right?
Oh, well, the denialist itself actually started December of 2021. And it was a big fiasco there because they pushed it. Let me think about that. Yeah, December 2021, it was actually November they started it, and it was discovered December 2021. And because there was not a vote on it, and it was discovered that it was being done in secret, it just caused like this massive fallout within the Discord and within the community.
Right.
So then they rammed through a vote, and then I found out some interesting things about the certain groups who were involved in that. Not going to comment on it now. Point being is, they're finally trying to get away from a manner of maintaining it manually, where you have to manually review and add people. But of course, some people are getting caught up in the algorithm unexpectedly, and they have a lot of tuning to do.
Right.
I don't know. I don't. But hey, there's a lot of people who are selling hotspots, and many of those hotspots have Raspberry Pis in them, and they're selling them for dirt cheap. And Raspberry Pis are a hot commodity right now. So if you know anyone, let me know. But
how much are Raspberry Pis right now?
They're going for like $100 a pop.
Wow. Jeez. Actually, yeah, I'm on Amazon.com. A Pi 4 with 8 gig is $190.
It's nuts.
Jeez.
It's absolutely outrageous.
Jesus.
Trillion Capital Toronto Corporation, another good YouTube channel. He writes, what brand of antenna do you use? Our McGill antennas and panels have killed it on earnings side. I like McGill's a lot. They are probably voted as the best quality antennas to utilize. Their quality assurance is excellent across the board. I've had great experience with them. I like Rockland's as well, but I've been told that they might have some quality assurance issues. I haven't seen it yet. I've had a lot of good experience with theirs, but if you want to pay the money, McGill is definitely the way to go. It's probably the industry standard. I have both omnidirectionals and directional panel antennas, and they work great.
This looks pretty nice. Oh, what's the man, I just realized just looking at the Explorer, I had one question about the Helium Explorer. So you said there might be a separate one for 5G, and it
Did
doesn't
see
show on here
something
right now.
in one of the hips about creating a separate Explorer for 5G, or maybe that's the app. I'd have to look at it again, but I just don't see specifics for earnings when it comes to the coverage that is. So there's several ways that the coverage is estimated that you're providing, and they might want to show that on the map.
Right.
I'm thinking that's what they're getting at, like more of a heat map type of deal, and that's
Right.
why they would need a new Explorer. But I could be interpreting the improvement proposal wrong.
I see. I see.
Second TL mining rights. Am I still actively deploying helium LoRa hotspots? I can't say actively deploying. I maintain them. I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do today, though. I'm going to go to my best location, which is a 100-foot grain elevator, and I am going to deploy my MatchX M2 Pro from the very top of it. And no, it's not getting mounted. It's getting tossed. I'm going to make a video, and
Can't wait.
I'm disgusted by that project.
Record it with your phone, right?
I am.
Hell
yeah.
yeah.
I also have to go. It was either the wind or some kid went into that building and moved my directional antenna, which I'm salty about
Oh.
because it moved to a spot that has no hotspots in that general way, but it's still making a good amount of earnings because it's seeing things in the peripherals. But yeah, I don't know. If you go up there, look, if any of you guys try to go into this building because you hear me talking about, you're an idiot. Number one. Chances are the police are going to catch you before you get in because they're always watching the spot.
Mm.
But hey, if you make it in there, there's a good chance that rather than going home in a police car, you'll go home in an ambulance because you'll probably fall down an elevator shaft or trip over something. It's an old grain elevator, so not the safest place to be, and the elevator doesn't work to the top. So if you want to climb a 100-foot ladder just to go play with my antennas, don't do it, please.
Your hotspot's up there, and there's power up there
Yeah,
to turn it on
yeah,
and stuff. Nice.
nuts.
That's awesome.
The things that we do for crypto.
I've been wanting to do because I got a bunch of trees around me. I've been wanting to see if I can go up and put an antenna up high, but probably not. Like 80-foot trees. I heard people do that.
Yeah, I've seen some YouTubers do it. It probably does work. Run PoE, I guess. PoE splitters and stuff.
Right.
Um,
For
says
crypto, I've
anyone
got spare
ROI?
antennas if you need.
Oh, Predrag Radozovic writes, put WeatherXM while you're there. Well, if they want to send me one, I'll put one up and cover it. I'm not, unless I really believe in a project and am willing to buy into it and understand it, I'm not spending money on projects that I don't understand. I just can't. I think WeatherXM might have something good going on, but you also have to think in terms like, and I'm just riffing here. I have looked into it enough to decide that it's not for me. Maybe I'm missing a key point that you guys are seeing. So take what I'm saying with a grain of salt. Do your own research. I know a lot of people who like it. The way Max Voltage broke it down, he said it was it didn't make sense, and he knows more than I do about the weather system and has a close relative who works for in some form of similar work line. And
This is the first time I'm hearing about this. The WXM Helium Weather Station. That is
I mean,
interesting.
don't underestimate the ability of, or let's see, the lengths people will go through to come up with a crypto project to sell hardware, even though they probably know in the end their coin really has no utility or their token has no utility, but they're going to sell hardware that they might have already had a business manufacturing for several years now.
Right.
But because now they have a token and crypto and all the rage attached to it, even though it does nothing, more people are going to buy it. I don't know. Not saying that's the case, but hey, we've seen it happen before.
This is interesting. Wow. There's a whole thing to it.
Want one?
Not really. Kinda, actually. So this is running on the Helium network. The token is on the IoT.
Yeah. Well, no, they earn their own token, but from what I understand, so it has numerous ways to transmit the data, LoRaWAN being one of them.
Right.
But Bluetooth, low energy, configurable. I guess configurable is the management portion, so you hook up to your phone. You scroll down a little bit, it said Wi-Fi, NB-IoT, something else. 4G cellular, maybe?
Yeah, NB, IoT, LTE, LoRa, GPS, Wi-Fi, GSM.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. They'll probably see your video and be like, RedPandaMining wants one. We got to get it to him.
Yeah. I just looking at this one here, it has all the powered by solar panel.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's cool looking.
Cool
I mean,
looking.
I'm sure it's
yeah.
cool to have the reports, but like $400.
Yeah.
Or even worse, they give it to you for free, then expect you to make content on it.
God, this is interesting. Very interesting. How does it, so it connects to your network through Wi-Fi, I guess. Close proximity
I
of
guess
your house.
that's one of the options it has. I guess you can use an NB-IoT network, which is like another IoT modulation for sending small amounts of data for thing devices. Wi-Fi, I don't know. I don't know it well enough, but yeah, everyone's trying to find a way to shoehorn helium into their solution.
Right.
But I'll tell you who had a really good case for utilizing helium. And I actually pitched it to him. It was Yeti for something he's coming up with.
Nice.
So he might have to show everyone how it's done.
Hell yeah.
When he has time away from Terra and the million other
when he's free.
Yeah, that guy is incredibly smart.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
As Hawk would describe him, a famous YouTuber without a single video.
Yeah. Tech man, let's buy one, convert it into a wind turbine, and run a Gecko Science module with it. A Bitcoin miner in it? Yeah, I don't know if that little solar panel would be enough.
Any of you have interest in GeoNet? I don't have one. I'm starting to come around to the idea, but it's just like
GeoNet?
GeoDnet.
NET.
A lot of people I talk to like them. They think it's great. And I know certain crypto projects that are going to start incorporating their utility into, I guess, their location verification.
Right. Space weather station miners. Oh, so they're gonna have a little hardware dedicated?
Yep. Very interesting.
Interesting. So many of these projects that I've never heard of before. This is gonna be running on the Helium network or its own.
Helium network will be one of the ways it can connect and transfer data.
Nice.
619 OTA says, I can send you one, Joe. Send me a Hive mapper. Well, I only have one Hive mapper, and I absolutely love my Hive mapper. And like I'm actually having a lot of fun with it, mapping. It's a little bit frustrating, as all crypto projects are in the very beginning, when you have to deal with application bugs and uncertainties and trying to understand the system. However, it's been earning tremendous. I do have videos on it where I talk about the earnings. I talk about what different factors play into the earnings, what you need to do, what the constrictions are, etc. Right?
Right.
Basically, what they're going for is the crowdsourced mapping to provide more of like a fresh, often updated global map for companies who need that type of data. So they're going to have a more resilient, more up-to-date product than, say, Google Maps can offer. And I like the idea. I'm going to tell you what. Everyone's happy when earnings are good, and they're good for people who get in early. I don't recommend that you go out and buy one just because of that fact. It's not always true. It very often is. But consider the fact that, like, say 9 out of 10 businesses fail within the first how many years? I don't know. But just apply that to crypto when you're being realistic here, okay? Something along those lines. Just sort of apply some sort of context that would make you come to realize that there's a lot of uncertainty and risk in the space. And just because things are great now and you're earning doesn't mean that there's whatever a viable path forward or that things are actually playing out as they should be when it comes to development, utilization, etc. I have high hopes for Hive Mapper. They are very receptive to the input that I've given them. They are trying very hard to learn from other mistakes that the other players in the crypto space have made along the way and not try to repeat them. They've come up with an interesting tokenomics model. They're built on Solana. I know you guys will love that. But the tokenomics model is interesting from a standpoint that it is reliant on how the map matures over time. So although when you're early to adopt it, if you're one of the first people to get it, you're going to earn more than most, the people who come after you, but it's not going to be like disproportionately more like you would with CPU, GPU, ASIC mining or something like helium mining.
I want one.
That's it. You know what? I'm not going to comment.
I know. I'll reply.
Well, now you blew your cover.
Oops.
Yeah, obviously we get free stuff because we're YouTubers. Hey, It's a full-time job, dude.
It is. It really
People
is.
can sit there and complain about it. The amount of crap that we have to go through over this content is, I don't know.
For real. Takes a lot of time.
What makes it worth it for me is
Discipline.
doing stuff like this with people I know enjoy this content. Me
Yeah.
and Panda get to geek out. One of these days we're gonna have to play guitar.
Oh, dude, yes. Please. We'll make our
Yeah.
band.
Yeah, we're gonna get together a band with some other crypto YouTubers and then, just go to these events that they put on,
I have to
and
wear a panda suit.
we got to make sure that we're always in the spotlight. We're always up in everyone's grill, no matter what it is. We're the main source of entertainment.
Oh yeah. Joe. Dude. Well, Joe, have we gone through everything? All the topics that we wanted?
I think so.
Holy smoke, we did it, man. Dude, you did it. You did an amazing job. Oh my god. I learned a lot. I learned a lot today.
Well, I appreciate you having me on.
No, dude, I appreciate you. Thanks for coming on.
Of course, I appreciate your audience. Once again, big thank you to Seed Studio and Crankk for sponsoring this stream. Tomorrow we have another one, same time, with more special guests, the ones you love. Very smart individuals. So it'll be Panda, Mining King, Max Voltage, Chris Bagnell, and myself. I'll probably do the least amount of talking in the stream. But Seed Studio will be giving away the Sunstep M4 Square. You have to be here, present, to be eligible to win. We're going to break down and review it, and we're going to give you some good information on the Flux network. I'm really getting into Flux. Like, yesterday was my tipping point where I went from just reading about it and trying to understand it to being like, all right, now it's on. I'm obsessed. It's going to be like a helium marathon of videos like I've done in the past.
Yeah, dude. I can't wait.
We're going
Yep,
to get
tomorrow.
this shit on.
Yeah,
Woo!
Second TL. Hell
Second TL, your videos on Flux are fantastic. You guys, if you haven't subscribed to him, you're wasting your time.
yeah. Yep.
Go over there and subscribe to him. I get so mad when I see people who put so much effort into their content like him not get the recognition he deserves. Like, it's golden information. It's easy to follow. It's well put together, and it's like nobody cares. They want you to sell them a pipe dream and make all these promises. So when their life decisions pan out the same way they would, whether you told them to do that or not, quite frankly, at least this time around they have a scapegoat. That's my theory. They just like us telling them that they're going to be rich, so when they fail, they have someone to blame rather than not having anyone to blame.
Who unsubbed to second TL? He's under 1,000 subscribers now.
What the hell?
What the hell?
Ingrates.
He needs 3 more. 2 more now. I'm gonna find those people. Whoever unsubbed.
Yeah, he posts a video and he'll be like, "What the hell?"
Yeah.
It's screwing with the algorithm.
Screw the algorithm. All right, he's over 1,000 now. There you go.
Yeah.
All right, Joe. Damn, we streamed for 3 hours, man.
This is gonna be the definitive
Helium.
2023 Helium handbook
Yes.
for the Solana transition.
Hell yeah.
I've had fun.
Thank you, bro. Well,
For having me.
dude, thank you so much. Everyone,
Wow.
subscribe. Please.
Oh,
Subscribe
we
to
forgot
Joe.
to raid the Helium Discord. Damn it. All right, next time.
How do we do that?
You can post a link. I'm not encouraging anyone to do that. Okay, not saying to do it. If you guys want to do it, have at it. I'll probably leave. But I'll laugh about it.
Yeah.
It would make my night, but I'm not going to participate.
That laughs pretty hard. Can't wait to read the comments on that Discord.
Oh, it's gonna be great.
Yeah. All right,
We
brother.
were nice. We were nice. I didn't talk about.
No,
There's
yeah,
actually a few topics I wanted to throw out there, but here I'll do one just for the fun of it. Okay,
sure.
I'll tell you one. All
Okay.
right, I gotta find it so I can read it. Okay, helium currently. If anyone wants to take this on, I encourage you to. I will help you however I can. But it has come to my attention that Helium Foundation is hiring a head of communications to I assume clean up some of the poor speculation that and public relation that has taken place over these past months, and they're having a hard time finding someone for the role. Now I know some of you have floated my name, and I'm not sure if that was a serious recommendation or a troll on the foundation because you know that there's a good chance I would not be able to work in the same environment with those guys. Also, I'm not sure you'd be able to pay me enough money to take a job like that with the abuse you're going to take and the fires you're going to put out. Just saying. But I'm happily employed, so I'm not considering it. But if I was to take on the job, I'd tell you what my immediate plan of action would be. Okay? I would I would ask the foundation to put me in charge of the entire moderation team within the Discord. And there's plenty of good ones there. I'd give them a 6-month vacation from the Discord. It's well deserved. They've helped enough people, but you can tell that they're getting pretty salty.
Right.
And it's like running a service desk and not getting paid the way one of my buddies described it. I mean, it gets old dealing with jerks and answering the same questions over and over. So, you know, enjoy your time off, and the rest of them, I would sack them, get rid of
Get
them.
rid of him.
Bye. So many of them are just like I said, condescending for no reason and on a power trip.
Yeah.
That was another reason that whole video I made went over like a turd in the punch bowl. I called them hall monitors, which some of them are. It's like, is this
Yep.
the first time in your life you had power? Anyway, but honestly, it's not even the moderators I have a problem with in there. They've really not been too terrible to me. I just don't like the way that they talk to certain people.
Right.
But then I'm gonna tell you my immediate plan to follow that. If I were to be Helium's head of communications, I'd schedule numerous live streams with all my friends here on YouTube and go on this publicity campaign and channel my inner Dan Keller. If you don't know Dan,
From Flux. Yep.
from Flux, yeah, he does outstanding presentations, and I do them in the same fashion. They just be so intense and inspirational as I scream vulgarities into the camera. It is awesome,
He's
and that would be my approach for the first 14 days.
yeah. He's very well spoken. Love that guy.
Me too. I when I hear people complain about his language on the streams and what he says, it's just like, if that is what you judge this project on,
Love
look,
it.
just get away from me. I don't care. You're a snowflake. Hey, maybe some of it's unnecessary. Fine. I know I'm a little bit on the um. I'm an acquired taste. I'm a little bit abrasive and too intense for some people, so I get it. I sometimes regret things I say on camera. However, I admire his honesty and just the intensity and motivation he just brings to everyone. It's awesome. I think he's hilarious.
Need more people like that in this space.
All right. I'm done keeping you on the live stream. This was a lot of fun.
No, Joe, we can go on all day if you want, bro.
Oh, really? Well, you know what? Chris might end up trying to do that tomorrow. Tomorrow might be.
We can make it longer tomorrow. I'm down. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. If Chris wants to, if Max and King, actually, I think Max is on a time limit, but we'll talk about it.
All right. Now we have another YouTuber.
Who just rolled in?
Last minute.
Smoke
I
'em.
didn't know we're about to end. But thanks for being here, bro.
Good to see you.
It's the effort that counts.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Joe, any final words? Bro,
See you tomorrow.
thank you so much, man. Thank you for everything
Thanks
you
for having me. It's a pleasure. Thanks, everyone.
accumulated all today about helium. And you did it justice for sure. Oh my god. I love it. Love it, bro. Everybody in the live chat, thank you for being here. Techman, I have a question. All right, Techman, you can. What was the site to check the ban on helium? Oh, that is
Crowdspot.io.
crowdspot.io. Let me get it up for you. I'll put it in the live chat. Right there. Go see if your hotspot is on the deny list. Okay? Aw, kitty.
Kitty is old and starting to have dementia, so
Oh no.
he is he doesn't know what to do. He gets bored very easily and just paces.
Faces? Oh.
When I give him food, he has to sniff it for like 2 minutes minimum before he decides he wants to eat it or walk away.
Tech man, lots of hacks. Never give your key peeps. Thanks, guys. Thanks, bros. All right, thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Make sure you subscribe to
you
Joe
tomorrow.
Network Bits in the description. We'll see you guys tomorrow in the Flux live stream. Having live stream. We're also giving away the SenseCap M1 or M4 Square Flux node. All right, peace, guys. Thanks, Joe. Thanks, buddy.
Thank you.
Thank you. See you guys. Have a good day. Stay safe. See you tomorrow. Peace, peace, peace.
Damn. Are we done?